Hey, yo, salute to the people. It's the social forecast. Today is Friday, April 3rd, 2020, about 12:30 p.m. Welcome to the Midday Juice. So what I'm going to do is I got a few topics I want to bring across, kind of put my little 2 cents in on them. Not going to make this first episode of the show too long because I'm still structuring exactly how I want to do it, exactly how I want it to be. At some point, as my platform grows, I want to implement a call-in session. So it's really raw now. I'm probably going to do, each time I do one of these 2 or 3 times a week, I'm going to probably do 2 or 3 topics, going real quick on the topics, and then let y'all give y'all feedback as to whatever y'all thought about it. First one, I just want to get right out the way, right off the bat, because it kind of seems to be the topic of discussion right now. Stupid ass Georgia Governor Brian Kemp issued a press conference yesterday, and issued a statement telling the people of Georgia, the state of Georgia, and the American people, and essentially the world who's watching, as we continue to fumble through this corona outbreak, because clearly it seems that not only on the federal level, right, they can't seem to figure out exactly what to do to help us best get through this thing in the most efficient and safe and healthy way possible. But even these local governments, on the state level in these different states, don't seem to have a clue. And when you have the state government fighting with the federal government, and what are we going to do, and where are the supplies, and why aren't we using the resources that we have? You even have the military weighing in. Everything's just becoming a big mess. And this is a big part of the reason why myself and other people that I speak to feels this thing's going to get a lot worse way before it gets any better. A lot of this could have been avoided. So the governor of Georgia, Brian Kemp, issued a statement during a press conference yesterday and said that we are just finding out that people who are asymptomatic, meaning they are carriers of this coronavirus, it is in their body, they have it, they're affected by it, but they are not exhibiting any symptoms. They are asymptomatic. This governor of Georgia is saying, we just realized, we had no idea that these people who are asymptomatic, who are carrying this virus, could still spread the disease, could still spread the virus. And collectively, the rest of the country, and I'm sure the rest of the world, and CNN analysts and news reporters are literally sitting back with the crazy face, like, what? First of all, you're a governor of a state. How do you make it to that level and not have what I would consider to be some of the most commonsensical, basic understanding about things? You don't have to be a doctor to know that someone who is asymptomatic of something, someone can be a carrier of something and still transmit that disease or whatever it is, virus, whatever. Vast majority of people know that. Couple that with the fact that it's been all over the news. Doctors, scientists, public officials, people have been all over the media in the past several weeks saying, listen, there are people who are not going to be exhibiting symptoms. There are people who are going to be asymptomatic. Those people have to be extra careful because even though they don't feel sick, they still have to keep their distance from people who they could potentially infect with this virus. So what have you been doing? What bunker have you been hiding under for the past several weeks? What rock have you been hiding under for the past several weeks? But see, this is what's crazy. It shows that there's clearly a disconnect in communication. If the federal government is going to be separate from the state government, and if we understand the difference between local law, federal law, we understand that. But clearly, and I don't know how many people are looking at it like this. This is one of the first things that crossed my mind. Even if you didn't hear any doctors or scientists or news reporters talking about this and saying, listen, people who are asymptomatic can still spread this disease, this virus. You're not in touch and in contact with other, you know, uh, state officials in your neighboring states. You're not in contact with the mayor of the major cities that are in the state of Georgia. You guys are all not in communication with the White House, with the president. How can we have, forget a national, uh, uh, you know, pandemic, but a global pandemic that's going on right now? And the president and the president's people, the staff, in the White House, how are you all not in communication with your state senators and your governors and your mayors? How? And if that's the case, who are we following? What is the leadership really doing, and can they really be trusted to get us through this situation? And now I'm hearing from people, unconfirmed, but there's strong consideration to implement a new law, in the wake of this whole coronavirus outbreak pandemic, that people who are leaving their homes are going to have a mask of some kind on their face, something to protect or cover their face. First of all, it can't be the masks that are said to be the correct mask that you should be wearing, right? That's classified as a PPE, right? There's personal protection equipment, because there's not enough. There's not enough of them in stock. There is not enough. We're trying to force these mass production companies to make more of these things so that they can be more readily available. So that's one issue. And then two, you're saying, well, it doesn't have to be a mask. It can be a scarf. It can be anything that you can put over your face, comfortably, that, will help to protect you. Well, that's not true, because there's a reason for why it was specified that certain masks offer the best protection. So now we're saying, for the people who have to go out, we're encouraging them to use something that is not really designated for this use. So now those people who are going to be forced to do it, according to what I'm hearing, if this is something that is really going to be put in place, these people are going to be in danger. All because of the government cannot figure out a way to produce more of these things. So I don't know. Look, I can't get too. This is what y'all asked for, though. This is what y'all asked for. Everybody who said I'm voting for Trump, it's going to be a good change for the White House. It's going to be a good change for the country. We need somebody in there who's not a politician. But this guy can't even sound presidential. He can't even remotely exhibit any presidential traits whatsoever. But that's that. That's just, let me know what y'all think about that. The other thing I wanted to touch on. So now it's being leaked from the White House, from White House staff, to different news media outlets and reporters and such, that this one-time stimulus payment, right, as part of this whole outbreak, as relief for Americans, that was supposed to be was supposed to start being issued on April 6th. Now I'm reading and I'm seeing, it's being reported that payments for the people who have been set up with direct deposit, who file their taxes and have all of their banking information on file with the IRS, are going to be issued direct deposit. That's now looking like, or being reported to not even be set to even start going out until at least April 13th, which would be a week after the original April 6th date that we were hearing, when this whole talk of the stimulus bailout or the stimulus deal, vote being passed. But that's just a week for those people who have that information on file. For the American citizens who don't have any banking information on file with the IRS, who have not yet filed their taxes, and who are filing now or have been filing in recent days since this thing really kind of blew up, It's being reported that those people can be waiting for up to 20 weeks if they have to receive a paper check, because um, the IRS is saying that they're only going to be able to issue, as far as physical checks go, up to 5 million a week, when there are hundreds of millions of Americans who are now affected and who are going to be looking out and waiting for, this assistance, this help, this relief. So if we go 20 weeks, we're looking at going into damn near next winter. So I don't know how that's going to work with these people who, it's already not going to be much more than a Band-Aid anyway. But I get it. Any little bit helps. The people who are really in need of that little bit that would help, by the time they receive it, they're going to be in an exponentially worse situation than what they are in now. And what's funny to me, because I was talking to somebody about this the other day, it takes no time for all of us as American citizens who work and who pay our taxes for that tax money to be taken out of our paychecks. That takes no time. It's immediate. It's right away. That infrastructure is already in place. It's protected. It's there. It's reliable. They can count on it. But when a situation has to be reversed and now the government has to take, because let's be clear, this is not a handout. It's too little, too late, but it's not a handout. We are taxpayers, and the money that the government is now saying we need to push back out to the people, to the population, to help somewhat stall this nosedive the economy's taking. It's really only our money that we're getting back in the first place anyway, which definitely doesn't even out for all the years that I've been paying taxes and that I've been working, 20 plus years. So the idea that it even was delayed in the vote for as long as it was because some people in politics looked at it as a handout. It's not a handout. Nothing that the government could do for its citizens can ever be looked at as a handout when we all pay taxes. So that's one issue. And the second issue is, it's about time that we join in with these other countries who offer the citizens of those countries a national income. It just is what it is. It's national security. There needs to be some kind of uniform base income. In addition to every American citizen who works, goes to work to pay their bills. Nobody, in my opinion, who works 40 hours a week, every week at the least, to be a productive citizen, to pay their taxes, to pay their bills, to contribute to the economy. No person falls into that category should ever have to go without, should ever have to wait on or rely on there being a catastrophe so dismal and so grave that now the government wants to reach back and give assistance. And I'm sure that they're not happy to do it. But they finally understand that, listen, if we don't, we're in trouble because the economy is going to tank. The markets are going to crash. So we have to do something. So let's do whatever little we can get away with doing and still make it look like we're actually helping. And let me know what y'all think about that. The last thing I wanted to talk about, and I really don't want to spend a lot of time on this because I really didn't even want to have to cover it. But it's entertainment news, it's media news, it's hip hop news. Takashi 6ix9ine officially released from prison. The conversation is it's trending online again. It's the same things that people were talking about when the rumor mill first started to spread around that Takashi 6ix9ine possibly would not have to serve a lot of time. We're hearing the same arguments come up now. What's his career going to look like? Is it viable? Will the people who listened to his music before listen to his music now? I don't see what the conversation is about. I don't see what the debate is about. The core fans of Takashi 6ix9ine, his base fans, the people from the age of, let's say, 14 to 21, maybe 22, because I don't think anybody 25 and over is really checking for Takashi 6ix9ine like that. I'm sure that there may have been some songs people listen to and they like, other celebrities, fellow artists, and even a lot of them are distancing themselves now. But those kids who listen to his music, those kids who follow him, first of all, could give a shit less about what our codes are. A lot of them don't even come from the type of environments and neighborhoods that a lot of us come from. And even the ones who do, they're not on that in 2020. All they care about is if the music sounds good. I tried to tell y'all this. If the music sounds good, if you could vibe to it, if you can dance to it in a club, they don't care that the lifestyle, the actual lifestyle being talked about in the music in that song on that album is not being lived or being violated, or a person is snitching and not following the street code. They don't care about any of that. Matter of fact, half of his core fans think that he's justified because of what was done to him by these same people that he later, cooperated against. The fact that they claim to violate his girl and, have him kidnapped and do all this other crazy shit that's been in the news. These fans think he's justified. Why would I be loyal to and protect someone who was willing to do these things to me, and we were supposed to be cool? We were supposed to be in the same crew, so to speak. These kids don't care. And I just say that because that's what they're saying. But should they even really care is my question. Should they even really care? People are going to do what they want to do. This is nothing new. Who people need to fault for this whole Takashi 6ix9ine thing, for the people who want his career to be over, and for the people who don't want him to have that pass back into the building. And who knows if he even wants to, because we don't really know what's going to happen, right? We haven't really heard from him yet, and I'm sure we will in the coming days and weeks, interviews and things. So let's wait and see. But the people who let him in, who saw how extra he was being, how colorful he was being, and how much out of his way he was going to solicit that attention, and they still let him in the building because they felt they could benefit as much from him as he was going to benefit from them. So at that point, do you just wash your hands of it and say, respect the game? It's a good question. He wasn't just benefiting off of a culture and perpetrating a street code or a lifestyle that he wasn't living by. That same culture or those same people were benefiting off of his celebrity status and his ability to get that attention. So both sides got something from the transaction. And in those cases, do you just say, all is fair in love and war, all is fair in the game? But I really can't speak for anybody else. It's just how I feel. Let me know what y'all think about that. But that's really, let me make sure there's nothing else I wanted to cover with y'all. Oh, that's really it. Those 3 topics. Let me know what y'all think about it. Again, still trying to figure out the platform, still trying to figure out exactly what I want to do with the show. I think as far as structure goes, 2-3 topics is more than enough. At some point when the platform gets bigger, I would like to start adding in sections for me to take calls. Obviously, that's way out into the future. I don't know if that's even ever going to really become a reality, but that's what I would like to do. But as for right now, 2 to 3 times a week, 2 or 3 topics, this is just for, let me explain something to y'all. This is just for the people who like the ratchet stuff, the entertainment part of the whole social media era that we all live in right now. Because the majority of my platform is for real content, everyday life shit. But I'm noticing, I'm realizing that without the entertainment stuff, without the social media driven stuff, without the hip hop stuff and the celebrity news, without all that stuff, you're really hard pressed. No matter how good your content is, you're really hard pressed to build the following, to have people really pay attention to you. So this is just my way to incorporate that, to have a little bit of the best of both worlds. But I think the people who really like my content, come for the real content, still going to come for that. And we'll just sprinkle this stuff in, whenever and wherever possible. So that's really the angle behind me deciding to start the Midday Juice series. And like I said, I don't think it's gonna be something too crazy or even that big. Just a couple times a week, 2 or 3 times a week. And we'll see how it goes from there. Anyway, like, comment, and subscribe. I don't pretend to know everything. I just know what I know. It's the Social Forecast, the realest channel online. I promise, if you're not subscribed, you're out your fucking mind. Let me know what y'all think about this episode. Let me know where y'all think I should take this episode. Let me know what y'all think of the topics. And I'll see you on the next one. Peace and love.